there's a third road here. And that third road is a road that's been less traveled. It's the road of listening. It's the road of health and understanding your body and understanding why you have cravings and understanding what the emotional eating is about. And that's the one that actually works. It works long term. It works with how you show up and the success and your authenticity.
Buckle up for a new episode of the S.H.E podcast, the show where we have real and raw conversations to inspire and empower you to be seen and heard so you can create balance and everything you want in your life and business. I'm your host, S.H.E, and I'm excited to walk alongside of you on this journey of being seen, heard, and empowered. Welcome to today's episode of the S.H.E podcast. And I've got an incredible guest with me today, and I'm really excited to talk with her because one, she's an amazing journey and story, and she helps women in a really powerful way. But two, this is not the first time I've been talking to Marla, that I'm talking with Marla. We have done summits together, so we've interviewed each other before. And so I'm really excited to be sharing her along with her new book that she launched and some other goodies that we're going to dive into. So welcome, Marla, to the show, and thank you for being here.
I'm so glad we're back together again, Heidi. We've had some good conversations, and I'm excited to share again with you. Yeah,
this is going to be phenomenal, and I'm just as excited. So before we dive in, Marla, I'm going to give everybody a little background about you. Do you love your body? As the creator of Love Your Body, Love Yourself, Marla Mervis-Hartmann helps women access their yes to that question. After experiencing years of dysfunction in relation to food, exercise, and body confidence, Marla transformed her life through the radical act of self-compassion and friending herself. She has since used her experiences to help empower women as they choose appreciation for their bodies, honor themselves through nourishing lifestyle choices, and cultivate confidence along the way. Marla launched her first book, Befriend Yourself, in October of 2024. So thank you again, Marla, for being here. And I usually ask one question to kick off my episodes with my guests, but you pretty much answered it. Usually my question is this how you help women now and what you do to make change in the world? Is this something of a journey that you've been through yourself, or is this something that you're passionate about and learn more and now help people in that way? But you just shared that you had your own journey with how you help women now. So can you tell us more about your story and your journey?
Yeah. So, oh, wow. It's been quite a journey of healing my relationship with my body and my food. And the thing is, Heidi, it's like my story isn't unique. Unfortunately, I feel like so many women out there specifically have had so much dysfunction and tumultuousness in their relationship with their body or their food. I wrote this book, Befriend Yourself, and I've had so many people reach out and say, I feel like you just like are telling my story, which is why I'm telling it. I'm telling it because it's so relatable. The amount of negative body image, the amount of diet culture that is in our world, and the ways that affects how we feel about ourselves. So I was someone who used my relationship with food and my body to deal with my life. The way I dealt with any stress was either to diet and not feel it, or was to overeat. And so I was binging, I was purging, I was restricting, I was over exercising, I was controlling, then I was out of control. And I had this experience of like, if I control my body and get my body to a certain weight, that means I have control of my food, and that means I'm going to be happy, which is all like a big illusion, right? And so you can watch my TEDx talk to really go into that part of the story. But when I realized that my relationship with my body, my food really didn't have anything to do with my body, my food, it was actually a deeper spiritual healing opportunity for me. And that's what I see with so many people. And the thing is that dieting, food, emotional eating, all these things can become very addictive and very seductive. And the diet culture helps us to believe that, right? Because that one next diet is just going to make your life better, right?
Absolutely.
And so along my long journey of recovery. There weren't any me's back then. There weren't anyone like me. Like there wasn't like the coaching world like there is now. And so I had
Right.
to kind of piecemeal my recovery together. And then it was when I found that moment that I was like, oh my gosh, I think I'm good. Oh my gosh, really? And I was like, oh, and it just hit me. It was like spirit just came in, God came in and said, this is what you're to do. You're to support other people who have this. And I get chills when I say that because I know that like that is my mission. And there's so many pieces to that puzzle, right? There's so much. That's why I'm here. That's why I wrote my book. That's why I'm doing this work. And that's why I am kind of the pillar for holding people in a space of care around food
Mhm.
and care around their body.
Thank you for sharing that. And every turn where you turn, there's another ad or another somebody trying to sell something about, oh, get this product or take this pill or do this in 5 minutes a day. And you see it anywhere, everywhere, especially with social media now. So what are you seeing as far as out there, like what the impact of, is it getting worse? When I was growing up, there was just magazines that we would look at. You see the late women
Right.
on magazines, maybe some here and there on commercials on TV, but it wasn't as blatant. And that's what, and I had an eating disorder in my early 30s, and that came from competing in bodybuilding and in figure competitions. And it was the same way for me. Like I can control this. I felt like I was out of control with everything else, but I could control this by binging and purging. My question is, what was your moment that you were like, okay, enough's enough? Because I knew when mine was, but when was yours that it was just like, enough's enough? I can't continue doing this.
So I had a couple dark nights of the soul. And the one dark night of the soul was the binging, like being in my bed and like I had such a huge binge. And it was that moment of this is this is my life. It's never going to change. I'm always going to be dealing with food and my body in this way. And wow, it was so painful. And from that point, I kind of wrapped myself up and said, I'm gonna diet. I like pulled all my willpower and I was just like, I am going to diet and control and I'm gonna make it happen. Right. And so I did, Heidi. My life got smaller and smaller and I got the number on the scale and I got the control. And it was on that moment where I stepped on the scale and I realized I'm the most unhappy I've ever been in my entire life. And it was then, that was the moment, that was the light bulb moment. And it was awful. I mean, I was like, it was an awful moment, but it was the moment I needed to realize there's something deeper here and I need to let go of this control. And that's the thing, Heidi. I mean, I feel for people like we're all in this world where there's so much going on. And with social media, we're feeling everyone's pain and life feels completely out of control. And the one thing that we feel like we should have control over is our food because it is only about us and we have control over our body. And there needs to be compassion in that. Both you and I who know this experience, we're still in diet culture. We're still surrounded by this message. It's still in our psyche. It's still I'm super ingrained in my body. So I have to remind myself if I have a thought around it or whatever, it's like, it's okay. It's just not acting on it for me. I can't act on it. It doesn't work. It never has worked. It doesn't work. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. And we hear all the time, oh, you have to love yourself first before you can let anybody else can love you. It's love first. And I want to talk about your book because you say befriend yourself, right? Your book is befriend yourself. And that I was just like, when I read that title, I'm like, wow. I want you to talk to me about the book. Tell us about the book. Why did you write it in the first place? What compelled you to write it? And then we'll go from there because I have some more
Yeah.
questions.
Let's talk about this because this is really important. It's that concept of self-love. And I
Mhm.
think that concept of self-love is so big and it's kind of like a sappy meme. Like, okay, I don't even what that means to love myself. Like, what does that look like? And so, what we can do, and what I talk about in the book, is the idea of becoming our own best friend. So, this idea, when we think about friendship, when we think about the people who show up for us and are our friends, that is love. And to turn that around and to become your own best friend in relationship with your body and your food. And that's what I learned when I looked at the theme of my recovery. I realized, oh, I was trusting myself there. Oh, I was caring for myself. I was prioritizing myself. I was learning to listen to myself. All of these attributes that a friend does. Because I had so many friends around me, but I wasn't that for myself. So this idea of becoming our own best friend is more for me, more of like a tangible way that we can love ourselves, that we can care for ourselves. And so we know the power of the word, we know the power of books. And so I was hoping to, through this book, kind of reach a lot of people and share my experience.
Yeah, I'm really glad you did, because I think it's a powerful message. And many times we need this reminder, because people talk about self-care and things like that. But it's really important, like you're sharing, like we have to give ourselves grace and be our friend, be our own friend first, put the oxygen mask on yourself first before anyone else. And we wouldn't speak, many times we speak to ourselves worse than we would speak to anyone else. We wouldn't talk to anyone else that way. Well, it's okay for us to talk to ourselves like that way. Absolutely not. But we don't think about that. We don't remember that. And I think your book is a powerful reminder that, hey, take care of you first. Be the friend that you would want somebody to be to you, to yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my book it's real, it's raw, it's funny, it's going to give you very specific things to do. And, just like you said, when it comes to self-talk, because I've had many people ask me, like, what's the most important thing that you can do to heal your relationship with your body and your food? And I think it is that continual conversation with self. And can, like, when I think about my relationship with my husband and my son, like, I'm always working on how I communicate and how I say things like, oh, all right, saying that like that to my son is not a good idea. And the same thing with myself. What am I saying to myself? And even becoming aware, because I think people wake up in the morning, they look in the mirror, and the first thing they do is that same voice shows up and goes, right? Or, oh, I'm going to mess up my food today, or I have fear, right, around my food, or just there's so many gremlins and experiences underneath all of this. And if we were our own best friend, our friend would go, why are you talking to yourself like that?
Yeah.
What's actually going on here? How are you feeling today? And we can do that for ourselves if we slow down and if we give ourselves the time and space for that. And that actually does heal your relationship with your body and your food, along with a lot of other things. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but that's a big one.
Yeah. And guilt, when if we fall off, like, quote unquote, fall off the wagon with our food, and we're like, okay, well, we're going to do this today, and then we don't follow through with something, or we eat something we shouldn't have eaten. We feel the pressure that we put on ourselves. That too can cause. I know for me, when I tell myself, like, oh, I'm going to eat really healthy today, I'm going to drink more water and blah blah blah, and then I'm like, there's a piece of chocolate cake in the fridge, and I start eating that, and then I'm like, okay, well, now I just ruined everything, and then I can be hard on myself. Question for you, for somebody that's listening and they're just feeling lost right now, like they're going through it and they don't know how to get out of it. They don't know where to turn or what to do. Obviously, we're going to share how they can reach out to you. But what is something that they can, like, take away from this, from listening to you today? What is one step that they can take right now to feel like, to help them feel like they're making progress and moving in the right direction?
Yeah, because I want to, what I'd like to do to answer that question is I want to speak to what you're talking about with the guilt. So a lot of people will come to me because they have dealt with a lot of the control and they have it, like, and they figured it out and they have the willpower and they have it and but they can't contain it because it's not sustainable. So then they go over, and if you're watching me, I don't know if you're seeing me on the video, then they come over to the other side, which is like the screw it's, the F it's, like, I'm just going to have what I want and whatever, and just let that all go. And the thing is that a lot of people are living in this juxtaposition. There's a third road here, and that third road is a road that's been less traveled. It's the road of listening. It's the road of compassion. It's the road of health and understanding your body and understanding why you have cravings and understanding what the emotional eating is about. There's a completely different road you can travel on, and that's the one that actually works. It works long term. It works not only just with your physical body, but it works with your spirit. It works with how you show up and the success and your authenticity. There's an authentic body. There's an authentic expression of yourself that doesn't live over on the left or over on the right. It's right down the middle. And that right down the middle is connected to the heart. So I want to give this to everyone right now, because if there's something that you are needing, I want to give you compassion for the experience. I want you to slow down in this moment and think, oh my gosh, I've been on this roller coaster for so long and I'm here again. And sometimes we want to jump into action. We want to jump into, I need to fix this. I need to fix this. But really, the first step is to slow down and be like, oh my gosh, here I am again. Oh my gosh, I have so much compassion for myself and this body. Like there's something around that when we really show up for the pain, not from the place of, it can be from the place of victim, because I don't know how many times I've been like, oh my gosh, I'm such a victim to this experience. But that place of almost like wrapping your arms around yourself and having even like maybe even a moment of a pity party, because from that place we can stop the control, we can get into our heart, and from that place we can lean into an action that is actually truthful. You can come to my website, you can get the Breaking the Cycle of Emotional Eating free course. You can go on to your social media and stop following the people that are talking about dieting. Let's get a whole new algorithm here. Let's get the algorithm of all the body image, all the positive body image people, all the people who are talking about, body neutrality, and the ones who are talking about healthy eating from from an intuitive eating standpoint. We can start looking at how we're talking to ourselves, people that we're around, how we listen to them when they're talking about their bodies and what, right?
So I love what you just said. Like, unfollow the people that are not doing anything for you in that space. If you're feeling bad when you see something pop up on social media, that is your clue to delete and move on. And it always comes, especially these ads, right? It comes up, and I know for me, Facebook will say, like, was that ad beneficial? No, no, they'll stop sharing them with you. So you have a TED Talk also. You have your book, which where can we find your book? Let's start there.
You can find it on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, all the things. But if you go to my website, which is loveyourbodyloveyourself.com/book, you're going to get access to my book there. You're going to get links. You're going to even have access to a free course. If you buy the book, you come back and put your invoice in, you'll get my Body Compassion Collective course. You'll also see, depending on when you're listening to this, I'm doing a book club. And this is happening mid-February 2025. And we're going to dive into the book together. And I wanted to make this, Heidi, I wanted to make this opportunity for community around this conversation, and have it to be something that is highly accessible and highly affordable, where not only can we talk about the book, but we can get that people who show up can get coaching around what is present for them. Because we need to have these conversations in community too. I think
Yeah.
it really makes a difference, because a lots of time we feel so alone. We look around and we think, oh, she's got it going on. Oh, he's got it going on. And actually, you know what? Maybe not.
Most of them don't got it going on.
Yeah.
I used to think that way when I had the fear of being seen, especially in certain areas on social media. I was like, well, what is this person going to think about me? Or what are they going to say about me? And I'm like, then I learned, I'm like, most people don't think about you as much as you think they think about you, right?
Right.
Just do it. So yeah, so definitely go to Marla's website, grab the book, and get involved in her book club that she has mid-February. I highly recommend it, because this is not a journey you want to try and do on your own. And when we want something different, we need to do something different. So think about, if you're not where you want to be and you're still struggling with this in your life, then you get to choose something different. And like Marla said, it's all about community, and it's much better, healthier, and easier to do it when you have community surrounding you, and when you're being led and guided by somebody who's been through it herself, who is, literally walking the talk. So I definitely invite you to go grab her book and then join her in the book club. And Marla, what does it look like to work with you? Can we talk about that too, for somebody that's like, you know what, I want to know more about that aspect of how you help women. Like, what does it look like to work with you?
Yeah, well, the first step is have a conversation to see if I can help you, right?
Mhm.
And when I work with people, we look at the practical, but we also really look at the emotional pieces. We look at where the wounding is and why food came in, why the negative body image came in. And we go into a deep journey,
Mhm.
right? A deep journey, but also connected to the food and the body, because a lot of people will come to me and they're like, I've already talked about this story over here with my therapist. But when we bring in the some of the old stories and we connect it to the food and the body, I've had so many people are like, oh, now I get it. Now some of the tendrils around the food, the tendrils around the body stuff begin to dissolve because the connection is being made and the nervous system can relax. And I feel there's so many different layers of healing this journey with food and body. So
Yeah.
yeah, and one-on-one, I love to work with people, in a package where they're held and loved and cared for by me and feel like we're doing this journey together. Because I think that's what needs to happen is a deeper experience with someone where I had a client say to me the other day, just about feeling so much shame around these stories that she's sharing with me. I'm like, oh my gosh, girl, like, are you kidding? This is like nothing, right? It's like such a safe, unconditional love space where it's like nothing that anyone's going to tell me around their food or body, like that I'm not going to get. Like,
Right.
gotcha.
Yeah, and that's a good, I'm glad you brought up the shame piece because for somebody listening, could they be like, oh, I can never share my story. I could never share what happened to me or something that I've been through because it's just that painful. And that's one of the major pieces of moving through your journey and the healing is really putting a voice to it and being able to vocalize it and share it and know that you're safe, right? You're safe, you're held, you're loved, and you're supported. So if you're listening, if you're feeling like anything that Marla has shared with you today, please reach out to her, grab her book, and definitely join her for the book club and get your journey started. And this is the perfect time. If you're here listening with us today, you are in the perfect place at the perfect time for you. And now the step is to, if you want something different, you get to choose that next step to do something different. Diets don't work. None of that works because at the end of the day, we're not getting to the core root of why we are here in this place in the first place. And Marla's going to help you go deeper on that and bring light to it so you can heal and step into your true authentic self as beautiful as your beautiful true authentic self. So thank you for that. Let's go back to the TED Talk because I know I brought that up. Could tell us about your TED Talk because that's very
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, my TED Talk was, I'd love for everyone to go and check it out because it really goes into my story. And you'll see some of what I shared here is in that story. And it's interesting, some of the things that I got back from from sharing it, when I look at the comments from the TEDx page is, oh, when I saw her and saw that she was thin, I didn't want to believe her story. And this is the thing, like I was born into a healthy, thin body. And as you know, Heidi, like that does not mean that negative body image, that eating disorder, disordered eating, that doesn't mean that we're not prone to that.
Right.
This issue, it happens to all body types. And so I just want to say that to those who are watching or listening to me, that every body can have an experience of not liking, not loving, using food. And so there's a deeper place that we can heal inside.
That's so true. Yeah, I was extremely thin. That was where my body image issue came through. And I was fed a lot of food when I was young because I was so thin. So I was given extra food and I just wasn't an eater, right? I wasn't an eater.
Yeah.
So then as I got older, so I developed that, negative body image thinking I'm not good enough as I am because they keep trying to give me more food. And then that, cycle perpetuated and so forth. So you're extremely right. Just don't judge somebody by the way they look because you just don't know what they've been through on the other side of it. So yeah, go check out her TED Talk because I'm going to go check it out. I know it's me. I know Marla. I've talked to her a number of times. I can only imagine what the spectacularness and the sharing that you give on there on your talk. I have where can we find you on social media? First of all, we talked about your website and your book. Oh, I have another question because you brought this up. You said these words, and I want to ask you what it means because if somebody's listening, they're like, "Wait, what is that?" What if they heard that like I did? What is intuitive eating? Because you mentioned that.
Yeah. So intuitive eating is, and there's a book about it. There's a whole movement around it. But I'll give you my interpretation of what that feels like to me is that when we become sovereign in our own body and we take back our power, we take back our power and we stop letting social media, other people tell us we're supposed to eat and when we're supposed to eat it and how it's supposed to look. And we begin to allow our body to be the voice that
Mm.
says, I'm done eating. I need more food. You know what? Although that's not like how many grams of whatever I'm supposed to be eating, I'm going to eat more because my body is still hungry. I'm hungry this morning. I'm not going to do that fasting because someone else told me. It's giving ourselves the opportunity to tune into our body. And so the first journey of that, Heidi, can be where people are saying, like, well, if I listen to my body, all it's going to want is sugar, right?
Mm.
And there is a layer of that to attend to. But underneath that craving, even in that craving, there is something intuitive. There's something here to explore. But underneath that is a voice that is the true voice that is connected to your authenticity. So that's what we're tapping into here. We're taking back our power and we're letting our body decide.
I love that you keep bringing us back to center. When you were talking earlier about one side versus the other side and bringing us into the middle, and then you just brought us into center again, which, like I said, reach out to Marla because if you're looking to, you're tired of flip-flopping and going back and forth on your feelings of maybe there's shame or there's guilt, then, definitely reach out to her because she's going to bring you to center and help you create the love that you deserve and the life that you deserve and love yourself as you should. So go love your body, loveyourself.com and grab the book. It's loveyourbodyloveyourself.com/book. And you can also, like Marla said, grab her free course there as well and reach out to her, learn more about how to join her community for the book club that's coming up. That's really exciting. And how do we find you on social media?
Love your body, love yourself always on Instagram, love your body, love yourself on Facebook. Go to my personal page, which is my name. Reach out to me. What I love is when people say, hey, I resonated with this. Hey, I have a question about this aspect of what you said. I'm very approachable, as you can tell, and we do need each other. And so maybe sometimes it's just a question that needs to be answered to get you on the right track. And I'm totally open to that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I have two final questions for you.
Mhm.
The first one is there a fun fact about Miss Marla that we wouldn't know from checking you out on social media or going to your website or listening to your TED talk and reading your book? Is there anything behind the scenes about Marla that we kind of be surprised to know?
Well, I was an actress for many years and I did so many different jobs. I stood as a mannequin as the goddess Gaia. Like I did whatever I could to make enough money to survive. I played Kanga in a big kangaroo costume, like in a children's
I love
traveling show.
that.
Like I've done some interesting things along the way. So
Aw,
yeah.
that sounds fun though. Fun
Yeah.
memories. Yeah.
Yeah.
My second question for you is if you could have lunch in a conversation with any person, famous, political, anything like that, historical, whether they're alive or deceased, who would that be and why?
Olivia Newton-John.
Hi.
She's always been my idol ever since I was young. Everything about her. And as she's gotten older and she's passed, there's so much power in her grace. She has so much power from the grace and her gentleness, but her strength. And I was a singer and I wanted to be her and marry John Travolta and all the things. So yeah, I would love to sit down and talk with her and sing with her and play with her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's beautiful. She was definitely a gorgeous woman. And my favorite movie of all time is Grease. Ever since I
Of
was
all time, of course.
it's my favorite movie. People will be like,
Yeah.
"What?" No, it's my favorite movie of
Oh,
time. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I loved her. And I always wanted to, I was like, I was young. I was little when it came out. And she was my idol too back then. I was like, oh my God, I want to look like her. I want to be her. I want to,
See
what's that
her.
outfit?
Yes, I want those black tights,
Yeah, those shoes, the jacket, everything.
everything.
She was phenomenal. And then the poodle skirts. I love the poodle skirts. Like when I was young, too,
Oh,
I always thought I was born in the wrong era. I'm like, I am born in the wrong era because I just wanted to wake up and wear a poodle skirt every day. So yeah, that I love that. I love your choice. Is there anything else, Marla, you'd like to share that I didn't ask you or you didn't get to touch on that you want to share with us today before we wrap up?
I think we covered a lot, and I think just like what happened in this conversation is like, oh, there's that one other thing. Oh, there's that one other thing. If there is that one other thing, as I just said, reach out to me, ask
Yeah.
me the question. I think that it's so important for us to have these conversations from an empowered place because there's so much disempowerment. There's so much comparing ourselves, and women come together often and just put themselves down and talk about their bodies and talk about food. And we want to have empowering conversations that has nothing to do with our body and our food because we're here for so much more. We're here for
Yeah.
so much more. And
Yeah,
so
let's
we got
flip the
to that.
script. Flip the script and change the verbiage a little for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Marla, for being here. For you listening, go grab her book, Befriend Yourself, and make sure you reach out to her. She's extremely approachable, amazing woman. You like she said, you can ask her any question. You don't need to be afraid to ask her anything. She's gonna serve you with love, and support you in any way she can. Thank you again, Marla, so much for being here. I'm so grateful for this time with you.
Thank you, Heidi.
And thank you for listening to this episode of the S.H.E podcast. We'll see you on the next episode. In the meantime, be empowered to be seen and heard.